I love Counterstrike. It has a large but climbable skill gap. It's just something that most games can't really say nowadays. Most games nowadays either have a giant impossible mountain they need to grind for days on end, or they don't even try with the skill gap and you know everything after day one. Counterstrike is different. You can play Counterstrike with 0 hours of experience, but you can't perform in it without at least a day or two. This is mainly due to the gameplay. I'm sure you all know. You don't? No. Okay, let me break it down. 2 teams, terrorist and counter-terrorist. Creative, I know. The terrorists will push 2 points labeled A and B, with one of the groups bringing a big kaboom device. The reason to push both sides is to distract as many counter-terrorists as possible, as to protect he who carries the big kaboom device. Once the big kaboom device is planted at either site, even if they get that far, then the match will then only last another 40 seconds until the big kaboom happens. It is at this time that the terrorists must defend that point with their life while counter-terrorists try to defuse the big kaboom device before the big kaboom can commence. Naturally, counter-terrorists have a bit of an edge over the terrorists until the terrorists can plant the bomb. It's simple. Terrorists are attackers, counter-terrorists are defenders. Any questions? Good. Now, the gunplay. It's understandable, it's simple, and they don't try to force feed you a ton of mechanics that aren't easily digestible. Everything is either simple enough to see with your own eyes or just inherently makes sense when using a gun. And while this may seem limiting, especially compared to one of my other favorite games, Titanfall, why is this one sentence? It actually allows for incredibly creative gameplay that can vary between all types of players with all different types of guns. You can play up close with a shotgun or SMG, or you can give yourself a little bit of range with a rifle, or you can keep your eye on mid with an op or, God forbid, an SSG. The point is that no matter how you like to land your shots or where you like to shoot at, you can play how you like. Plus, gambling. Needless to say, I think that Counter-Strike is genuinely about Valorant. Talk about Valorant better. Alright, fine, I'll talk about freaking Valorant. Let me get the lab coat, hang on. I am not a fan of Valorant. Valorant just Counter-Strike with powers. Yes, well, no, there are a lot of little differences, but even so, I'll be the first to say that I like hero shooters. Titanfall mostly, maybe a little Overwatch, but when I want to sit down and play something casually tactical like Counter-Strike, I don't want to deal with powers. When you mix the simple gameplay of Counter-Strike with something inherently complicated like hero-based classes, then you'll end up with, well, garbage. This phenomenon is a very simple one that applies like so. A mixture of simple nature will be disrupted when in contact with complex elements. It's that simple. In Counter-Strike, everyone is on the same level, not an equal one. That makes a huge difference. When someone has a weapon with more or less power, those are the consequences of your performance, not because he chose some other character that counters your precious little ultimate. Now, I think it's safe to say that Counter-Strike is the ultimate example of a modest skill gap. It is friendly to new players and they can definitely learn the game, but it also sees and rewards players for being good. That's the perfect skill gap. I don't really have a catchphrase. Toodles, I guess.